Hey everyone. Well, today is a perfect caribou day, so I figure I'm going to take a well-deserved break from work and go hang out on the lake for a little bit. So, I think Hector's had enough of me. He's wandering off. He's in search of a stick. There we go. So, hit minus 16 Celsius last night, and then today it's beautiful. This is perfect weather. So we had a little bit of snow, but the lake is primarily ice, and actually fairly decent for this. So, might as well enjoy it. Work can always wait. I think this is going to be the start of a country song. The Dodge is stuck, and now I'm going to take the Land Cruiser to get the Dodge unstuck. Hopefully this does not cascade and get significantly worse. Okay, so what am I doing? I am going into my backyard to grab firewood because I'm going to need some more. So I have this little lovely road that goes into the back area over here where I've got lots of wind-fallen trees, and they're all dry and ready to burn, and we're gonna get those today. But as I was driving through this, the Dodge got stuck, and this is primarily, well, partially due to the fact that it is a much wider vehicle than the trail, and also it's icy and the tires are really bald because I am being too cheap to replace them. So we're gonna drive over here and try to get the Dodge unstuck. So first I'm gonna have to wedge the Land Cruiser into this spot, which hopefully works well, and then try to pull the Dodge out. So because the Land Cruiser is awesome, it has lockers, and those are the Terrain Tamer e-lockers, which are phenomenal. So we're gonna come back in here for a second. Actually, let's put it in low range, just cause. And we're gonna try to get the Land Cruiser kind of wedged in here between the trees on a bit of an angle. All right, I think we got the truck pretty well wedged here. And of course, I am also wedged in here between a tree and a door. So that's not ideal. Because it's a one-person operation, it's going to be much harder to do. But we're gonna try this. So stay tuned. Okay, I've got the wheel turned on the Dodge and kind of latched in there. And hopefully I can pull it out in neutral without too much trouble. We're gonna try that. Okay. That is my inside winch control, and then over here I wired in the in and the out powers, so I can operate it from the cab, which is much nicer to do without having to worry about a remote. Okay, let's see what happens when we do this. Oh, it's trying to turn. This is good. I don't want to turn it too aggressively. It's sliding off anyway, so what I should have done was put better tires on the Dodge, but I really wasn't planning on using it this year, so they're kind of really dull, and yeah. Hey, stand by. Back in the truck. Okay. I just have a big stump over there up ahead. I don't want to get into that. No, it's sliding off. Okay, I'm gonna have to rethink of this recovery. Stand by. Okay. Well, the first attempt wasn't working very well, so we're gonna try this again. It's funny, what I used to do for fun on weekends before I moved out here with stuff like this, you know, doing off-road trips and recoveries and things like that. And now it's part of daily life, pretty much. Okay, so I want to pull the truck a little bit more from this side. So I'm running a snatch block over here. Nice shiny one from Terrain Tamer. And the truck is over there, parked a little bit downhill. Should be fine. If I need more leverage, I can always tie it to a tree that's back there. And if I need to go a little bit more sideways, then I can always go to a tree over there, which is a little bit smaller, so hopefully I don't have to do that. So we're gonna see how well this works out. Ah, that's trying. I just got to get the back end out as well. But I might have to try. Yeah, we are out, pretty much. Okay, I'll just pull it out the rest of the little way and that's it. Okay, so the Dodge just died on me. There's a little electrical fuel solenoid that sometimes shuts off, and that's exactly what it did, which not a big deal. I should be able to fix that. Oh. But now the Land Cruiser is stuck in here, which also not a big deal because I can just winch it. But even with lockers, it doesn't want to go. So, okay, several issues today. I just found out I'm only 3-wheel drive, not 4-wheel drive. And I think my locker's not working properly in the back. So that is potentially the reason for it. Hopefully it's a simple fix, but it definitely sucks. And the Dodge is being problematic. So I'm just gonna make sure it does not roll into the Land Cruiser, because that would ruin my day. And let's see if I can fix it. Nice hot tea. All right. Okay. It appears that this might be a simple fix. This little wire here is the control or the fuel solenoid. And as long as it's getting power, then the fuel is on, which is the opposite of what the Land Cruiser has, for example. See, the Land Cruiser can run without power at all. And to shut it off, you actually have to manually move a lever. This is the opposite. This is more annoying. That will continue running, which is why I like that better. But I currently need this to haul firewood. So let's see if that fixed the problem. And magical fairies. There we go. Okay. I'll deal with the locker issue on the Land Cruiser later, since I have to do brakes on it anyway. So I'll figure that out later. But for now, it has rescued this thing. We'll see if I can get it stuck further down the trail, because the day is not over yet. Well, I pretty much got to where I wanted to, except I'm stuck again. So, these are the trees that I cut down earlier that were seasoning over here. And I've got a few more dead standing all over the place, but truck slid off the road again. So, looks like we're gonna have to pull it back. There are some key life lessons that I have learned over the years living out here. One of which is, if you're going to build a road, build it at least 50 to 70% wider than the thing that you think you're going to drive on it. Or at least the widest thing that you think you're going to drive on it. Because if you don't, you're going to find out that, especially come winter time, it's going to suck. Another point is, it's a good idea to test your equipment, all of your equipment, way ahead of time before you actually need to use it. Because the worst time to find out anything is going to fail is exactly when you need it. So today, not having 4-wheel drive in the Land Cruiser was not the end of the world by any means, but an annoyance. It's probably just a fuse or some little wire that broke, because they are electric lockers. And getting the Dodge stuck because it's the Dodge and it needs new tires or chains or whatever. That added definitely several hours to this. But now I can finally get going on doing firewood. Right, Hector? Yes, we're excited about this. Hello, this is a perfect caribou day. A little bit windy, but not too bad. So it's about 6 degrees. Last night was the first night in a while that we actually did not hit freezing. So it was only about 0, half a degree in the positive, which was weird. And it looks like we've got a bit of a southerly wind coming our way with a bit more heat. So not a bad thing. Means I can work outside. Hi goats, you guys have been fed. Can I help you? What's going on? You guys have had your grain. You've had the good hay. What's going on, buddy? Huh? Are you missing your pets? Is that what's going on? Okay. Gotta pet the goat. The other two, still skittish. Oh well. Yeah, the other day I got a truckload of firewood for Jess. And today I'm going to head into the other side of the forest and get some for myself. Now, yesterday I got the Dodge stuck going into there. Today, on this particular little path, it is a little bit more off camber and tight, so I'm just not even going to bother with the Dodge. I'm going to take the tractor. We're going to buck things up so that they just fit on the forks, and then I'll cut the rest up over by the house. The added sawdust from it is nice because it actually absorbs some of the mud and gives me a little bit more traction come springtime. So I've got 2 of my favorite chainsaws set up. One is an older MS460 with a nice big long bar, and the other one is a 240. Ooh, I should remember this. What is wrong with me? Many things. I think it's a 241. Anyway, it's one of the Farm Boss series. I've got like 2 other chainsaws in there. So, yeah, you can never have enough chainsaws out here, or chains. And you always want to make sure everything's kept in good condition because you need it, whether it's going to be windfall blocking the road or the ever essential firewood. Hi, buddy. Okay. Tight and off camber on on a icy trail. Always my favorite. All right, we have several trees to take down here. One of them is this guy over here. It's a decent size. And then I've got another one right there, and then a little bit one beside it that's kind of scrawny, but I'll take it. And there's no shortage beyond this, which is awesome. I've noticed that I've got one that's starting to fall over here. I'm going to have to go take that one out as well soon. And then another one beside it. So the dead standing ones are the best since they haven't fallen already and they haven't been saturated with rain. So these ones work ideally. I'm going to fall them first, see how they land, if the wind's going to screw this up for me, and then I'll determine if I need to skid them out or if I can just buck them up where they are and just hand bomb them onto the tractor, because I really don't feel like dealing with a 3-point hitch and hooking up the winch. It's just a pain, but need be, that's what I'll do. So after some careful consideration, I decided this is going to be easier if I winch them, because I've got a tree down over there that fell down earlier in the year that's dry. And I've got these guys here with the wind. I'm not going to be able to do it as nicely of a controlled fall as I want. And they're going to go wherever they're going to go. That's safest. And then I'm going to need to dig them out. It's going to be a pain. So, changed over the winch. Of course, that was not a 2-minute job because it required the drive shaft to be shortened by 1 inch for it to work well. Why does it feel like I'm getting rain? Oh, that's because water is melting off of that. It's like I'm standing here, the sky is blue, but it feels like I'm getting rained on. Snow melting off the tractor. Anyways, so that's done. It was an extra hour, but hey, much better for it now. So I'm going to go fall those 2 trees, and then I'm going to go winch everything in, and I'm hoping it all goes well. Okay, that went down perfectly, exactly where I wanted them. I've got another dead one over there that's already been laying, which I don't know what the moisture content is, but I'll check that later. But for now, I'm just going to wheel these guys in with the winch. So I've shown this on the previous video. If I can, I'll try to post a link to that sometime. But this is a skidding winch for a tractor. It's old. It's, I think, from the 80s or maybe even older than that. And I've used it so far many times. It's paid for itself in spades. It is so much nicer than trying to use the winch on my Land Cruiser to do this. And this just works great. So it free spools all the time, which is great, up until you pull the clutch, and then that's when it spools in. So we're just gonna go out, hook up one of the trees, and pull this thing in. I think I need a cameraman for this job. Okay, this is going to require 2 hands, so I'm just going to deal with it. The nice part about doing it this way and skidding the logs out is it usually breaks off all of the branches in the forest, and it saves me the hassle of having to cut them off. Okay, time to pull this in. Right. You know, it's been a while since I've used one. Helps if you engage the PTO. Okay then. Much better. First tree, not bad.
there's a job that needs done, or a horse to be broke,